Hey, everybody, this is Anthony Hines. For the last many years, I've been trying to help people with their job search, trying to help people with their career. Today, we're going to talk a lot about how to stay focused in your job search. I'm hoping to have Jamie Edwards join me. Last time we talked, you should be here. If not, I will give you my ideas. But I want to start with one thing, and that is this. You have to understand that a lot of people don't look for work during this period. Okay. And what happens is it's less people that are in the candidate pool. And when it's less people in the candidate pool, what happens is it's less competition for you. So during the summer, during the holidays, these are times to really focus, really focus on your own job search. Because the fact of the matter is um, that when you focus on your own job search during these times, it's going to really help you out. So, my point is make sure that you stay focused during the summer or stay focused, especially during holidays or times during the year where you think that people um, will not be as into looking for a job, because those are the times that you have an advantage because you're out there doing it while other people are not, which is a advantage for you, right? Um, Next thing, I want you to also understand that no matter what you do in life, there are always distractions. There are always things that can get in your way. You have to recognize the distractions at any point and put them in their place. Because the fact is, overwhelm is not a word that is in your vocabulary right now. You will not be overwhelmed because if you listen to what we talk about here, you'll be focused. You'll replace all the anxious feelings, all the anxiety with action, because the fact of the matter is that you will remember that anxiety replaces action. So what I'm saying to you is action is the key. What are you going to do every single day to help you with your search? Okay, first of all, make a list of all the people that love you from all of your jobs. Okay? You think that they're linked to you on LinkedIn. You would assume they are. But guess what? Maybe you sent them an invite and they never answered. Maybe you assume that they're linked to you on LinkedIn and they're not. That's on you. Make that list every job you've ever had, because if somebody knows you and has a lot of respect for you, and I say loves you from all of your other jobs, they're still going to do it, whether you're at the job with them or you're at your next job. They're going to remember you very fondly. So let's make sure that all of those people are your core LinkedIn network. Okay. Many people allow their network to just get too big for them to handle. Why? Because it's incremental. Somebody sends you a LinkedIn connection request. Somebody say, you might say, "Oh yeah, I know that person a little bit or whatever." All those little bits will grow your network much faster than you could ever comprehend it's going to grow. Okay? So you don't want to be in a situation where your network is out of your control because of the fact that you're not sure of all the people in it because you're not sure where they came from. The reality is this: everybody has an individual comfort with the size of their network. Okay? There are some people that drive it to 30,000. It's a race. They're trying to get there. Their goal, their objective is to get to the 30,000. And, when I get to 30,000, I'll be happy. Okay. fine. But the reality is that that's what's okay for them. Other people, they only want certain people in it. They only want certain people in the, they only want certain people in their network. That's fine. There is no set number. Okay, there is no magic potion or magic combination that you have to follow to get a job. Okay, let me tell you how you do it. Number one, you develop yourself. Number two, but by developing yourself, I'm saying education in your field, getting certified, staying fresh in the new technology, spending time learning, keeping your brain sharp, getting free education, putting that education on your LinkedIn profile, getting certified, getting certified, getting certified. Wherever you can get certified, those are great because the fact of the matter is when you get certified, the fact is that you are now a better candidate. Jamie, let's focus tonight instead of more on questions. Let's focus on how people can get a job. Unfiltered, straight to the point, action. Besides, obviously, having them be your client because you're going to tell right now what you do and why you magically do it better than anybody in the world. Go ahead, Jamie.
Sure, sure. Thanks. Glad to be on another one of these calls. And sorry, I was a couple minutes late here. I was finishing up a coaching session with a client actually. But yeah, hopefully we have a good. I don't know who's on the call right now. I don't see any comments right now in here, but sure we'll get some comments on here in a
Yeah,
little bit.
as
Um,
they as they say, Jamie, tonight is going to be me and you for the most part because there may be some people coming and going, but the weather is beautiful in Boston. I'm sure the weather is beautiful in Chicago,
it
and the
is.
fact is they may not be sitting here right in front of us, but they may be watching this at a later time. So let's bring it to them. Let's make it worth their time. Let's go. Let's go. Tell me
Sounds
what
good.
you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going on, everyone? I'm Jamie Edwards. I'm from Illinois, right outside Chicago, and I am a career coach. I have my own company called Jam Sessions with Jamie. And what I do as a career coach is I help people with three different parts of their job search. I do resume writing, interview practice, and LinkedIn profile optimization. And I do this through a series of one-on-one hands-on coaching calls through Zoom calls. And what I do is I put together notes, detailed notes on how to make your LinkedIn profile stand out, how to attack certain questions during the interview process, and I help you with specific strategies and talk tracks tailored to the specific jobs that you're applying to. And I also write resumes, which is one of my most popular sessions. I write resumes every single day for different job seekers. And the truth is, my job, the people I'm working with, they're getting hired faster. And they're getting confidence on their job search, which is very important on a job search, right? So, if anyone in this call is either watching right now live or going to watch it later, if you want to set up a free consultation call with me where I can review your resume and tell you a little bit more about the services and what I do and learn more about your background, I'd love to have a conversation. The link is in our event page if you want to sign up for a discovery call, or you can use the link at the top of my LinkedIn page as well. And all you got to do is find me on LinkedIn. If we're not connected, just search for Jamie Edwards or Jam Sessions with Jamie, which is my company name. So that's a little bit about me. I see we have a question already. Tracy Waltenberg, good to see you, Tracy. She says, "Hi, Anthony and Jamie. I'm seeking a new job since I was laid off my previous job. I'm noticing there are a lot of scammers and bots on LinkedIn more today than in 2023. Is there a way to get around the scammers and bots?" So great question, Tracy. Yes, there's a lot of scammers out there. As for a way to get around the scammers and bots, you can't really, unfortunately, get around them necessarily. I mean, they're going to keep what you can. I mean, all you can really do is snuff it out in advance, right? If you see them reach out to you and they say they have a job for you, and then you find out they really want to write your resume or they want you to reach out to somebody else. They want you to connect with them on WhatsApp or leave LinkedIn and go somewhere else. All you can do is block these people. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them out there and they have multiple accounts. So it's not just one bot account. There's several ones, but you got to do your due diligence. You got to look at how many fake followers they have that they put in their headline, or look for misspelled words or things like that. You can't really, unfortunately, get around the scammers. All you can do is continue to block them and report them on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, LinkedIn is not very good with taking them off the platform for good. I mean, they do remove people, but anyone can make a fake account and they'll keep doing it over and over again. So all you got to do is do your due diligence and stay smart when it comes to that stuff.
There's another question from Adawale. He says, I want to get into construction. How do I get into construction? I told him, try to be an intern or a trainee just to get in, because there are apprentices and people like that work their way up the process. But for Tracy, here's the deal, Trace. If you assume that they're a bot or you assume that it's a scam, treat it like it's a scam. Report it, number one. Number two, tell them you're not interested very nicely. I mean, I probably get 15 a week from people that are coming at me for WhatsApp numbers or whatever. My point is, Trace, thank you very much. Not interested. Good luck. They know, Trace, that if they keep coming at you and enough people complain, their IP is going to be blocked. Not just their profile. They're going to find who they are and they're going to block them. So, not interested. Thank you. Good luck. And at that point, report them. No, Trace, there's no time to be nice here. You're trying to get a job. They're in your way. They're gnats flying around your head. They shouldn't be doing that. No playing games, no background, no holding back. You report them, you go forward. They're not here to make your life better. Jamie and I, on the other hand, I gotta believe it, especially Jamie because he's the star. Is here to make job seekers' lives better.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about the bots. I mean, the main thing is, unfortunately, there's people who have been scammed before. That makes it tougher for me as a legitimate career coach to work with people. I met with somebody today who was scammed actually. And she said that the person said their resume wasn't very good. They paid them a small amount. Then the person took their money, and guess what? The person blocked them, and they never heard from them again. Right? Yeah. Goodbye. See you later. Right? So, that's why you need to do your due diligence. And that's why another reason why I jump on these calls, because I get people all the time who say they want to work with career coaches, but they can't tell sometimes who's real and who's fake. Right? So knowing that I'm a real person and I do these discovery calls and whatnot, it pains me to see people lose money and get scammed. All you got to, you just have to, like I said, you just have to trust your gut. And if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Right. And the thing is that what really happens, Jamie, is that when you're unemployed and you're unemployed for a long time, if you get any type of a leaf or any type of a branch or an olive branch, something where you think it's going to be better, you're going to talk yourself into that. Even though that part of your heart, your brain, your subject is telling you that, it's going to be a scam and I can't do it. You so desperately want a job that it works on you because you put it down. You come back, you look at it again, you put it down, you go, what if it isn't? And, your brain works against you.
Right.
So these poor people, they're really taken advantage of because they're at their most vulnerable.
Right.
And it's so hard to do. That's why I tell you, everybody, if you're watching it, if you find somebody as a possible scammer, do not sit back on it. Do not be nice on it. Report them, report them, report them. Why? They're hitting you at your most vulnerable. So guess what? hit back. That's my answer. How about Ada Whale, Jamie? What do you got there?
About the construction stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Adewale, what I recommend doing, you know, if I don't know if you're saying you're looking for skills or trying to develop skills, but kind of like what Anthony said, I would seek out opportunities where maybe you could shadow somebody or you could work in a, help out in a role or volunteer in certain ways and learn as much as you can, right? I mean, I don't know obviously where you're located or kind of what that industry looks like by you, but that's what you want to do is, find opportunities where maybe you can start off as an intern or you can start off and learn as much as you can and maybe partner up with somebody and they teach you certain things and eventually it turns into something full-time or whatnot. But that's how you're really going to develop skills.
right, right. And the fact is, if you can get in at a very low level, even Ada Whale, even if you get in at as a volunteer, do it. Because if you get in as a volunteer, think about it. It's not free because you're getting skills.
Right.
If you can volunteer and you can get skills, do it because those skills will make you money later. You'll make up any money you don't get later. So that's what's happening. Um, but Tracy, hear what I'm telling you. Listen to me. Do what I say, and I want you to tell your network. You've got a lot of people in your network. You're always posting. You're always on LinkedIn. I want you to tell your network to do this because the fact is, it's the only way you can fight back. Now, Trace, I know you're here. You've been out for a bit. Here's a few things for you. I want you to start posting a lot on LinkedIn. Put a lot of articles out there. Jamie, you'll talk a little bit about that, about articles and things like that. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah. So the main thing is when you're posting articles is you just want to show up, right? You need to show up and talk about things that are related to your industry. So, for instance, and I apologize, I'm chewing here. I'm trying to eat dinner at the same time too. I apologize. But what you want to do is you want to post things that are related to your industry. So let's just say you're a teacher and you're trying to get into another teaching role or a curriculum development role. Just give you an example. What you want to do is start by posting at least once a week and post about things that you can teach people stuff. Maybe you talk about 5 things that you've learned as a curriculum developer that has helped you with your career. Or maybe you tell a story about a project that you worked on that didn't go quite the way that you wanted it to go. But what did you learn from it, right? When you're posting things and content that teaches people things, or you're reflecting on stories or things that you've done in your role, it shows your passion for your career. And recruiters and hiring managers will find those articles. They'll search for, you want to use hashtags that are related to your background. So hashtag project manager, hashtag curriculum development, hashtag leadership. When you use those hashtags that are related to the things you're posting, recruiters and hiring managers are going to search for those hashtags and they're going to find content that they're looking for and people who are doing those things. So Tracy says, I'm in telecommunications. Then I would post things about related to telecommunications. One of the things I do, Tracy, is I help people with their LinkedIn profiles and I help them with a content creation strategy that clearly tells you the steps to take to help you get noticed more and help your posts stand out, your content, your profile, things like that. But what you're really trying to do is follow what I call the RAG method, RAG. Be real, be authentic, and be genuine. RAG, RAG. That's what I follow. And I do that in every single thing I post, right? I post selfies of myself. I post things about reflecting and mental health and things like that, right? Anything you're talking about, if you're showing up and you're teaching people things, or even if you're posting personal stories, if you feel comfortable posting a personal story that's near and dear to your heart, and you want to ask a question at the end. So it's a call to action, a CTA, they call that, right? A call to action so people will comment on it. It's all about just showing up. If you don't show up at all, you're not going to get noticed. You have to be present and you got to show up in different ways and you got to step outside your comfort zone if you're not posting already.
Well, the other thing, Jamie, is that people love to hear stories where you recovered. You recovered from a bad project. You recovered from a bad situation.
Yeah,
That shows you persevered. That shows you're a survivor. People forget about these stories because they're in their mind. They have this perception that everybody wants to hear fairy tales. They don't want to hear fairy tales. They
right,
want to hear why they should hire you.
right,
Okay? Do not go into an interview without understanding that what you're going to show the person you're sitting with, okay? And I don't say sitting across from and they're above me and I'm on the floor. It's sitting with. Who are you having the conversation with?
with,
Your objective there is to show them why you are very good at recovery, follow through, leadership, results, teamwork, mentoring, dealing with teams that are off site, dealing with stressful situations, good in customer service, basic. Keep it basic. The fact is, remember those skills because that's what's going to get you a job. It's not people just wind themselves into a top because into a pretzel. They're trying to say what is it? Stop. This is why I'm great. This is what I've done. This is what I've recovered from. This is how I'm a survivor. This is why I am your solution. Right, Jamie?
right. Exactly. That's all it's about is getting yourself out there. And like you said, right. Things like, once again, putting yourself out there, teaching people things, stuff like that. You just got to show up, and you also got to go ahead and comment on people's posts too. Like, what I always like to do is I like to comment insightful comments on people's posts. I like to search for certain hashtags related to my industry, and I like to comment on people's content that are talking about things that are related to my background, right? Because what that does is it draws attention to your profile, right? Because then people see your comment, other people engage with your comment, they like your comment, they react to it, and ultimately brings them to your page. So once again, everything goes hand in hand. And Tracy, like I said, I did want to say I did see a post of yours recently. I know somebody helped you update your resume in LinkedIn, but if for some reason you're not getting results, or you want extra, actual career coaching advice, I'm happy to help with that. Anthony can testify with me. I've helped a lot of people on this call, and have helped people get hired faster. Actually, two of my clients that I recently got a job last week came from this call, actually. So it's just about getting yourself out there and really taking the steps to ultimately get you noticed and get your job search, get your job search going.
Right, and that's the deal. Now, guys, Jamie does a lot for you. He'll have the discovery call. The discovery call that we talked about earlier is where Jamie gets a good understanding of you and what your needs are, what your objectives are, and then he formulates and says, this is how I can help you. We don't jump in the pool here, people, and we say, Jamie, magically get me a job. No, 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 no. What we do is Jamie, you have a discovery call with Jamie, you talk with them, and then you form a connection, a combination, so to speak, between the two of you, because then your common mission is for you as his client to get a job. Jamie, what percent of your clients have you helped to get jobs in the last since you've been doing this?
So I'm coming up on 3 years actually, which is crazy to think, right? I'm coming up on 3 years in July. And currently I'm almost at 600 job seekers that I've worked with in the last 3 years. It's about 200 a year, right? And out of all those people I've worked with, about 89% have already found their next opportunity or gone on to find their next opportunity, right? So that's a pretty high significant success rate. I don't promise people, obviously, when I work with them, I make sure I don't promise people that I'm going to get you a job in 30 days or less, or I'm going to get you a pay bump of $20, $25, $30,000, right? You can't make those promises. And unfortunately, there's a lot of career coaches who overpromise things and they underdeliver. My goal is to work with people until they find their next job. So even once we're done with our coaching sessions, if I write your resume, if I help you with interview practice, if I optimize your LinkedIn profile, even when we're done with those coaching sessions, I stay following up with the people I work with. I make sure I check in on them. I'm available if they want to call me or text me or email. You're not going to get that from any career coach. And unfortunately, there's a lot of coaches out there who think they can write resumes and they think they try to run it through Chat GPT or things like that. And they don't, if it sounds like a robot, people are going to know it, right? I write all my resumes by hand. It's something I take pride in. It's a passion of mine. And that's why, unfortunately, there's a lot of scammers out there that say they can do resume stuff because they're using tools and things, and they're not really making the changes you need to make to your resume. And Tracy said, can you look at my headline and tell me what you think? Tracy, like I said, this is something that I ultimately do when I do my coaching calls and my discovery calls. But I do, I do like obviously the way you have it set up, with obviously your company or your most recent position or what you do, your telecom network provisioning. You also have a few skills in there as well. I help improve internal processes to achieve better efficiency by identifying areas for improvement. That's okay. It's a little wordy. But I always like to put emojis in there and things like that. I mean, I kind of have a certain way I do my headlines. It's not bad, but I think it could be better, honestly. But I like the different keywords you have in there and stuff like that. So that's not bad at all. Where I think you could do the most, where I think we could do some work on there is your about me section, honestly. It's almost reads like a resume. Which when I build about me sections, it's not about looking like a resume. It's about making it stand out and making the reader want to read your about me section. And right now, the way it is, it reads like a resume, and that should be left for a resume. Just my 2 cents. Go ahead, Anthony.
Jamie, let me ask you this. How many people, when you take them on, do you notice that they have not put an end date to their previous job? And then they sit there and they wonder why nobody's calling them. Can
Yeah.
you explain to people why it's so important to put that end date in? Though it was very painful when the end came, explain why they have to do that, Jamie.
Because yeah, good question. Because you're fooling people when you still have a present job search or a present job experience. You're not working there anymore. You're fooling people like me. You're fooling recruiters and hiring managers. They're not drawn. Recruiters and hiring managers are not going to look at you differently, or they're not going to, if they see that you are still working for a company, they're not going to reach out to you proactively because they're going to say, oh, this person's working right now. Maybe they're happy with their job. I don't want to intrude on things, da, 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 da. If you put an end date to your job and you clearly have your open to work banner up, you are signaling that I'm no longer working at this point. I'm open to work and I'm looking for my next opportunity. Now, obviously, if you are working for a job and you're just looking for a new opportunity, then of course you should put present in there if you're still working. But a lot of people I see that I work with are just putting that they're still working for their current company, even though they're not, because they're too embarrassed to put that they are not working anymore. It's more like a mentality thing, right? But you got to come to terms with that. You got to put that end date on there, and you got to go into your job search strong and not be afraid to have that on there, because that's how people are going to find you easier.
Jamie, I can't tell you when I was going through my search, I can't tell you how many people would not tell their family they were out of work, would not promote to their friends they were out of work. It was like, I'll tell you, there was a movie many years ago called Falling Down with Michael Douglas
Uh-huh.
where he just didn't come to grips with the fact that he wasn't working. And it's an individual decision, but a lot of people do it, Jamie. They live in this world where they think that if they don't tell anybody, the nightmare will be over faster. They'll get a job faster. They can't be embarrassed. They're just such a failure. They can't make it. They can't get by it. They can't get out of that mode. Jamie, I'm sure you've come across people like that. What do you do? What do you do with those people?
Yeah, I just tell them, you know what? You gotta, you've got to get your head in the game, right? You got to understand there's a lot of people that are out there looking for work. You're no, you're not an exception, right? There's a lot of people out there looking for work. You've got to go in there and put the depression to the side and things like that, and realize that all you got to do is get that one yes, right? Don't worry about the rejection emails. Don't worry about what's going on in the job search that's making you disappointed. You got to look at the positives and say, hey, this is a new chapter in my career. I get the chance to write a new story. I'm going to put my open to work banner up, because there's people who are embarrassed to put their open to work banners up because so many people are telling them that it looks like they're desperate, right? That couldn't be farther from the truth. You got to have that open to work banner up, because that's how we know that you're looking for a new job, right? And you use that motivation. You use everything as motivation to say, you know what? Once I get a job, I can take down my open to work banner up. I can stop worrying about those rejection emails. I can get back to working again. And you don't let yourself get knocked down. You realize to yourself that you've gotten this far for a reason in your career. You're at this point for a reason. That experience is something that can't be taken away from you, and that you are good enough, and you're good enough, and a company's going to see your worth, and all it takes is one company.
Well, Jamie, you were formerly a recruiter, and people are so mesmerized by the world of recruiting, like they think it's this giant mystery. Can you be Oz behind the curtain and tell people a little bit about recruiting to help them have less mystery about the world of recruiting and how people get picked, and just some of your experiences to help
Yeah.
the average person navigate it in their head. What I'm trying to get, Jamie, is are things that get in people's head that they can't get out of their head. And like as I said, the recruiting is one thing. The last day and how it came down and why did this happen to me? That's one thing we've already discussed. Tell me a little bit, Jamie, about the world of recruiting.
Yeah. So, you hear a lot of different opinions on recruiting and how it works. And, you'll hear a lot of things about ATSs and applicant tracking systems and all that stuff. And, the thing is, a lot of times recruiters will try to have you believe that an applicant tracking system is just a storage locker for resumes, or they have you thinking that it's just a place where your resume goes and that they look at every single resume by hand. That couldn't be further from the truth. And the way that recruiting works, the whole point of having those applicant tracking systems is so we can figure out which clients are the best fit, or not clients, which candidates are the best fit for the job requisitions that are posted. Each job requisition that's posted can be tweaked in an applicant tracking system, so that way the applicant tracking system knows which resumes have certain keywords that match that job requisition, which resumes have certain skills that match the job requisition. I've even used applicant tracking systems where they rank candidates based on best fit and not best fit, right? That there's things like knockout questions and things that if you answer them a certain way, you automatically get a rejection email. It's all part of how applicant tracking systems work, and each one is different. And that's why having a great resume is so important, because you could be the best person for the job, but if your resume doesn't tell that story or doesn't have certain keywords in it or skills in it that they're looking for, your resume is going to be at the bottom, and you might just get a rejection email, and somebody else gets an interview who doesn't have as much skills as you, but their resume tells that story better than your resume did, and they got an interview, right? So we don't look at, I know for myself, and I don't want to speak for other recruiters, but anyone who tells you that they look at every resume by hand is probably just pulling your chain, and they're just trying to make themselves look good to make it look like they do look at every resume by a visual aspect. That's not true. Trust me, I got so many resumes that came in when I was working for some of these previous companies. I didn't have time to look at every resume by hand. That's what the applicant tracking system was for. So that's pretty much how like ATSs work and things like that. Tracy asks, how can you figure out what the right keywords are from job posting? You just got to look at the job posting in general And you could say, I don't know if you use Chat GPT or not, but an easy way is you can copy and paste the link or the description of a job posting, and you can paste it in the Chat GPT, and you can ask it a question and say, can you pull out the top 10 skills that this job requisition is looking for, the most impactful skills? And it'll analyze the description, and it will pull the right keywords and tell you which skills they're looking for. If for some reason you're having trouble finding certain things or whatnot, that way you know what to put in your core competencies, and what are the keywords and the right skills that job is looking for. Because you could apply, Tracy, you could apply to 10 different telecommunication roles, all with the same job title, and they might be all different in terms of what they're looking for, right? No two jobs are the same. They might have the same title, but every company has a different description or different idea of what they're looking for. So that's why it's so important to figure that out.
Jamie, the weather is beautiful. How do you stay focused in the summertime? What are some tips to help people stay focused so they don't go canoeing or surfing or going to the beach or fishing?
Yeah. Well,
Insert the ing word there.
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, well, when it is nice weather, I mean, you still get, I know you want to be outside as much as possible and stuff like that, right? When it's nice out, and you should get outside because you got to take mental health breaks during your job search. But just remember that you are first and foremost trying to find a job. That's the most important thing. Money doesn't grow on trees, and the way you're going to make money is when you're working again. So make a schedule for yourself. Set aside a certain amount of time and a goal. Set a goal of how many applications you're going to apply to every day, how long you're going to be job searching for. But also remember, too, to get out there and take breaks when you need to. Go outside and go for a walk. Go to the beach for a little bit. If you want to do work, maybe you can sit on your laptop and apply to jobs on the sand or something like that, whatever you need to. But remember that you need to take breaks on your job search regardless. And you need to do it for your mental health too, because if you spend 24 hours a day job searching and you're not getting enough sleep and you're spending way too much time doing this and you're getting burned out and you're not eating right and stuff like that, it's all going to catch up to you. And in the end, it's going to affect you physically when it comes to your health. And when you don't have health at all, guess what? You can't do anything at that point. So you need to take care of yourself, but you need to do it in a timely fashion, and you need to make a schedule.
And that's why things like community outings, community activity, volunteering in the community, doing things in your neighborhood, like in the summertime, there's a lot of parades. Maybe you want to help to organize your community parade. Maybe you want to volunteer in a little league, to coach, or if they always are looking for people to help out the snack bar. It gives you a lot of commotion. It gives you a lot of non alone time. It gives you a lot of ability to reset and refresh. And who knows? You could talk to somebody at maybe a softball game or a baseball game or some event or something you're volunteering at where you share the passion for that event and that activity, like the person that you're talking to, and maybe they're looking to hire someone like you. And just what? Guess what? You've just connected through this activity. So the fact is that connections come many different ways. They don't just come in the like, this person's great in the interview. Maybe you volunteer at a golf club and you help them to do a golf tournament and you meet a lot of CEOs, CIOs, COOs, and you help to organize that tournament. Guess what? Maybe a company has an outing at a golf course that you're volunteering at. Guess what? Maybe HR is going to go to that golfing activity, that golfing event. Maybe they're going to fall right to you because you are out in the community, you're volunteering, you're getting out there, and you're impressing people. Why? Because that's who you are. Sitting behind your computer, no matter how hard you try, you're not going to impress your laptop. You're not going to impress your desktop. Getting out to people Getting a job is not just applying, it's making it happen. Tell
Right.
him, Jamie. Tell him.
Yeah. It's not just applying. You've got to network a certain way. You've got to grow your community. My community, once again, if you look at my page, you'll see over 35,000 followers. Both me and Anthony have about the same amount of followers on here now. Anthony's got a lot of subscribers on his YouTube and other avenues too, right? But that didn't just happen overnight, right? That happened by staying consistent. That happened by posting content on LinkedIn. That happened by searching for certain people related to my background and trying to connect with like-minded people who share the same background as me. It's a full-time job. I mean, job searching and networking is a full-time job. It really is. And you're not going to get there by just sitting back and letting things come to you. You got to be proactive and you got to get that job, right? That's really what it comes down to. I mean, how are you going to stand out versus the hundreds of people who are applying to jobs every day? You can either spray and pray your resume all day long and apply to jobs, or you can go outside the box and try to reach out to recruiters, try to connect with certain people, join job searching groups. Like Anthony has his own group, right, that he joins, that people are posting job requisitions and stuff like that. You've got to do things to get out there. You also got to join other websites like Indeed, Monster, Career Builder, ZipRecruiter, things like that. Put your resume on as many of those websites as you can, because sometimes companies post jobs on those websites and they stay away from LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not the end all be all. I love LinkedIn. Don't get me wrong. Many of the people I work with come from LinkedIn, but it's not the only place where companies will post jobs. And you've got to look out there and you got to go around about that. I was just reading a comment from somebody I worked with last week that I wrote a resume for them, and they just told me they have 3 upcoming interviews, 1 on Friday and 2 next week. You that's exciting. You love to see those things, right? You love to see people getting traction on their job search and confidence, right? Anthony, confidence. Talk about confidence. Confidence is a big thing, right?
Here's the story about confidence, everybody. Let's keep it really, really basic. The fact of the matter is this. I go back to my comment that I said before. Why are you having the conversation with the hiring manager? Are you trying to make a friend? No. Are you trying to come up with someone that you can go to a ball game with? Sure, maybe after you're hired. But the reality is, you're at the interview to get hired. You are there to show them that you are their answer. You're the answer, you're their dream, you're everything that they need to get the solution they need to what that treasure map called the job description is. It's a treasure map, right? That everybody tries to navigate, that everybody tries to work through. It's a treasure map. But guess what? You're going to be the person that gets the treasure at the end of it, because you're focused on understanding and making sure the people understand why you're the best and you're the person that's going to bring them treasure when they hire you. One more thing about that. We talked about construction earlier. Guys, here's the deal. What does a bricklayer think about when he's working? Very basic. The bricklayer gets the measurements for what the wall will be. Is he ever or she ever intimidated by the size of the wall? Absolutely not. What do they focus on? The one brick. Laying the one brick, putting the mortar in,
Yep.
going to the next brick, putting that brick in. The wall will take care of itself when you focus on the brick, you focus on the mortar, you clean up the mortar, you clean up the brick, you make sure the brick doesn't have any type of imperfections, you go to the next brick. The reality is, the brick wall is your objective, but you get there by placing a bunch of bricks. Some people have less bricks to place, some have more to. Get into the placement of the bricks. When
Yeah.
you're into the placement of it, getting to the journey end will not be as daunting because you're focused on placing the bricks. And as for confidence, who are you? Are you a person that's going to let the process own you? or are you a person that's going to own what they can of this process? That's your decision. That's not Anthony's decision. That's not Jamie's decision. You could pay Jamie. I hope you pay him $1 million. You could pay him $1 million. He cannot make that decision for you
Right.
of whether you're going to be confident, whether you're going to be the person that job is looking to bring in to be their solution. That's on you. And it should be something that you embrace. There's no need to be afraid. I will do this. I have done this. I can't do this. This is how I'm going to help you day one. This is how I'm going to help you day two. I talk a lot about sports. Look at athletes. Listen to how they talk. Yes, I made a mistake. Tomorrow's a new day. I get a new game tomorrow. We're gonna make it. Okay? We'll focus on the game tomorrow. Sadly, we in Boston, Celtics fans, we saw Jason Tatum get badly injured last night, 2 nights ago. Do you think that the team is going to give up? They've galvanized, they've come together, and they said, you know what? Jason, we're going to show great effort for you because you were our leader. The choice is, everyone, to galvanize, to grow, to come together, to understand that confidence is always within your control. You cannot control the event, but you can always control what you do with it and how it affects you. That is on you. Right, Jamie?
Right. No, I couldn't have said it better myself. You're right. And yeah, no, that's you spot on. I don't think I can really add anything to that. But I do gotta hop off here in 5 minutes just because I have a call I gotta get ready for, also another coaching client. But does anyone else have any questions about anything? I know Tracy's been asking some good questions. I know we had some questions earlier from Ada Wale. If anyone else has any questions, please answer them in here. I mean, as much as I love to hear me and Anthony talk all conversation long, we also like to answer questions too. And we use this, we do this every couple of weeks, right? As a way to really give this an open forum, not only to give you guys advice on how to cope with your job search and tips on your job search, but also to really give you candid advice if you want to ask questions and things like that. I'll tell you, obviously it's crazy to think we're only a few weeks away from June already, right? But more and more job requisitions should be coming out. This is the time of year that people are hiring, spring and summer hiring. So we should see more jobs out there, hopefully more success stories with people getting opportunities. Whether you work with me or not, obviously, I hope you get some traction on your job search and things like that. But once again, the pillars of success when it comes to finding a job is having a resume that tells your story, having interview skills that help you answer certain questions with strategies, right? And things like that with meaningful purpose, right? Answering certain questions. And then obviously having a LinkedIn profile that stands out so you get people. It doesn't help if you have a LinkedIn profile and you're not doing anything with it. You've got to do things to make yourself get noticed, right? Long gone are the days where you used to walk into a business with a folder full of 20 resumes and dressed up in a suit and tie or, a blouse or whatever it is. And you go in and say, I saw a job on here. Can I drop off my resume? They're going to tell you go right back to their website and apply online. And they're going to look at your LinkedIn profile. The job market has changed and job searching has changed so much. And it's a matter of how you handle it and how you do things online and how you get it noticed. So, yep.
Jamie, Tracy's going to call you next week.
Great.
And we'll go from there. But the reality is this, Jamie, and I want you to go take off because I want you to prepare for your next client. But here's the point. And Jamie, talk a little bit more about your successes because people need to hear success stories to make them feel that they can have it too.
Yeah, look, I do wish I had more people on these calls. I know the people I work with, sometimes they can't get on these calls and whatnot, but when you're looking for a good career coach or you're looking for somebody to work with, you have to do your research. You got to look at their profile. Just because they have a fancy website or maybe they have recommendations on there that you don't know if they're real recommendations or not, right? All my recommendations are on LinkedIn. Those are real people that you can click on their profile. You can see they're not bots. You can reach out to those people and ask them how it was working with me. Like I said, I take success and pride in the people that I work with. And that's why people give me recommendations, because all my coaching sessions, well, let me just kind of back up here. I'll talk about this for a second. I'm going to be real with people here. Career coaches sometimes will try to charge thousands of dollars. I had a lady today I met with who said that they got a quote from somebody for 3 coaching sessions. It was $29.99. Now we're not talking about $29, $29.99, $3,000, right? To me, I mean, people can price whatever they want to price. It's up to the person how much they want to pay, right? I'm not going to pay that much, to be honest with you. I mean, all my coaching sessions are under $1,000. If you do all my coaching curriculum, all my coaching sessions with the notes, the one-on-ones, the guides, the spotlight posts, the 24/7 support, everything's under $1,000, right? Because I take, I understand that when you're looking for a job, you have to do what's best for you financially. And I want as many people to be able to work with me as possible, right? Without having to spend an arm and a leg. But you got to do your research. You've got to look at recommendations on these people's pages. You've got to be able to have a discovery call with them. You want to ask the person, if you're going to work with a career coach, ask them, are you the person I'm going to be working with? You'll be surprised how many people say that they're the face of the company, you're working with them, and they outsource your stuff to somebody else overseas, or they have you work with somebody else you'll never meet. You're not actually working with the person you meet. Everything that I do is me only. You work with me, you talk to me on the phone, you call me on the phone. Trust me, I don't try to sit here and spin off anything to anybody else. You work with me and you have to do your due diligence. When you hear from Anthony and he gives advice, you're not getting advice from anyone else. Anthony does this on his own. He's not working with some master plan, sinister thing, working with a whole big company to get his advice and then do videos on it. That noggin that's a face only for radio is him doing that right there. So that's it. So you got to do your
Speaking of
research.
that, Jamie, speaking of that, Raymond has a question.
Yeah, I see his question. What do you do if you are on the bench? I've met with the hiring manager. He says I'm a good fit for them. Of course, this is taking a while. Well, Raymond, do you know when you talk to that hiring manager, did you ask them specifically when you should hear back from them? I'm curious. Did they give you an actual timeline? Like say, hey, you'll hear back from us by next Thursday or next Friday. Do you know when they're going to get back to you? If it's been over a week, I would encourage you to reach out to them. I mean, I have a template that I use with my clients that I use to reach out to people to follow up on an application, but you can absolutely reach back out to them and inquire about your application and ask them, say, I just wanted to reach back out. Since I haven't heard from you, if they told you a specific day, you can sound like, you can say like, I haven't heard back from you, by this day that you told me I'd hear back from you by. I'm just curious if I'm still being considered for these, if I'm still being considered for the role, right? Whatever you want to do, you want to follow up with them. Yes, okay. No timeline was given. Basically, they'll stay in touch. See, I hate that. I mean, that creates more anxiety than there has to be in a job search. Like, if you did your asking and they said no timeline, you'll just hear back from us soon. Honestly, I mean, you can absolutely follow up after a week. I would. It doesn't sound like you're being too pushy. It sounds like you're genuinely interested. You're genuinely wanting to join their company and you're following up to see how things are going.
Hi, Raymond. Raymond, listen to me. Hi, hiring manager. I just wanted to reach out, letting you know I have multiple opportunities in the pipeline. Please advise where I stand in the program because I may be at a position where I may need to make a decision soon. I want you to know, hiring manager, that my priority is your company. I want you to
Yes.
know that I would that this company is a dream company for me, and it is my priority. But I have other things that are coming, and I would love to be able to get some idea of where the candidacy is so I can make the right decision for me, but not assume that I am making a decision without all of the possible information that I could have. So I'm coming to ask you, Raymond, I don't care if you don't have anything in the pipeline. They don't have to know that, buddy. You just bring it. You got me? You bring it. And that way you can get an understanding how hot they are for you.
Guys, yeah, very true, Anthony. I'm gonna say one thing before I jump off here. And this is something I want you to always think about. And I once again, when I jump on these calls, I be as real as I can, and I say things sometimes that might get me in trouble, but that's okay. It's all about being truthful and honest. You have to do what is best for you and not what is best for the company you're going to work for one day or the company you're currently working for. Okay, yes, they pay your bills. I get it. And they pay you, but that doesn't mean they can treat you a certain way. That doesn't mean they can put you in a toxic relationship at work. That doesn't mean they can micromanage you and do things that get you upset. That doesn't mean they can lowball you and pay. You got to do what's best for you, because in the end, in the grand scheme of things, companies are always going to do what is best for them and what is best for corporate America. I want you to remember that. I will tell you, I'm not going to say the company name, but I worked for a company for a long time. You can go on my LinkedIn page and see. I worked for a company for a long time, and I won all these awards, President's Club. I went on trips. Rah, rah, rah. Great job, Jamie. And every year it was, what are you going to do to beat your records, your sales records from the previous year? And they would make me feel bad when I didn't go to President's Club or if I didn't hit a goal 1 month, because they tried to hold me at such a high standard. Well, guess what? I was one of the top employees in the company in terms of how I was performing. And after a certain amount of time, guess what they did? They laid me off. And I said, how could you lay me off? Like, I'm getting the numbers. I'm your number one of the top employee in the district and doing this and that and that. And they said, yeah, we appreciate everything you've done, Jamie, but we got to cut costs here. And unfortunately it trickles down and, we got to let you go. And I said, well, can you find me another opportunity? And they said, you can apply to other opportunities and see what else is out there, but you got to find a job by this date or else you'll get a severance package and that's it. And from that point on, I realized that it didn't matter how many awards I got. It didn't matter how great I did. It didn't matter how many asses I kissed, honestly. In the end, the company did what was best for them, and they were okay with letting me go, knowing how well I did. They were okay with cutting my end and what I did. And from that point on, I realized that, I'm going to do what's best for me, and I'm going to do what's best for my financial situation and my health. And I'm not going to let a company dictate that. I just want to, that's
And
just
Jamie, that's why companies sometimes take very bad turns, like that movie Wrong Turn. It
yeah,
was a horror movie, right? There was like 4 of them. The reality is people take wrong turns. And this is what happens in business all over the place. Somebody that's not with your department or somebody that's outside of your world and doesn't get what your special is, and doesn't understand it and sees the name and the price and the stuff and the compensation package, and they go, wow, this is a nice chunk to get back. And
yep,
and and once that happens, it's very hard for the hiring manager to 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 fight it, because the hiring manager, they may get told, okay, you don't want it to be Jamie, give me 2 other people then, because Jamie does double what everybody else does, so give me 2 people. So to make his money, give me 2. And
yep,
what is the person going to say? What are they going
exactly.
to say, Jamie?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
no,
saying? I mean, it's just the company has decided to
yep,
go in this direction.
direction. Yeah,
It's not, you didn't suddenly become
no,
horrific at what you did. The
no.
company has decided to go in another direction.
Yeah, and they're not going to let their CEO and their CFO and those people all the way up the top of the food chain go first, even though they're making the most money. And cutting one of those people would ultimately help their budget, and they could pay their employees who do most of the work that money. No, they go with, it goes down the totem pole, and they always go with the lowest on there and cut people, and they work their way up, because God forbid they let the people go who are making $500,000 a year or millions of dollars a year, right? So just kind of leave it at that. Tracy, thanks for being on the call here. Raymond, appreciate it. Raymond, if you need help with anything and you want to have a call with me, please set it up. Tracy, send me your resume. I know we're connected on LinkedIn. Send me your resume and sign up for a discovery call. We'll have a conversation. I won't try to sell you on anything. Obviously, it's more just to get to know you better and see if there's an opportunity that I can help you. Yeah, what are you thinking, Anthony? When do you want to do our next call? A couple weeks from
Um,
now?
Probably after Memorial Day, a little bit after that. But Jamie, the secret regarding that whole premise of layoff is the more certifications you have, the more networking you have of other departments in your company, the more that people know what you can do in a diverse workplace regarding skills. Sometimes you can land because you have other stuff. So what I'm telling people is get educated, get certified, everything that you're good at, get a certification in it because you never know. Maybe you do project or job A one day, next day you might have to do job B. But if you're certified in both, you can start doing it Monday because you're able to do it. Jamie, probably let me get back to you because it's coming up on my actual wedding anniversary as
Oh,
well as Memorial Day. So we'll have to figure out another time, but I'm just not sure of the dates right now. But I'll get back with you. And I'm going to tell you, Jamie, we've been doing this for a while. This is one of our best shows
yes.
because
I
we
love
just brought it. We brought it. Both of us brought it.
it.
And I
Yep.
hope the people that watch this comment, tell their friends, spread the word, send this link to everybody they know. We have given you help to get you hired
You know what?
fast.
What's crazy is people do these seminars like this and these master classes like this, and they charge $100 to $200 for people to sign up and spend an hour with them. And the people who do these calls, these video calls, they don't let they don't let the people ask questions. They just talk and talk and talk. They don't answer questions. So, like I said, that's why I love doing this, because like I said, we give a lot of good information. We get some good people on here, and we'll continue to do this, and we'll shoot for our next call either May 28th or June 4th. I'm looking at here. So just let me know, Anthony. We'll talk it over, and hopefully some of the people on here, I get to meet them through these discovery calls, and we can have more conversation and continue the conversation.
There is no one like us on LinkedIn. There is no one. I don't care. You go out, watch all your LinkedIn live events, job seekers. You go out. There is no one like us because we hit you at the ground level with things that you can do now. Not sign up today and we'll talk to you from 50,000 feet. We bring to you from your gut level now. Jamie, thanks again. We'll be talking soon. Have a great day.
Appreciate it. You too, guys. Have a good one. To talk.
Rock on, pie.